Our next speakers on the agenda here brings us to two of Longmont's famous people. First of all, we have Dan Wolford, who has a master's degree in natural resources, has been the city's open space manager since its inception in 2000. Previously, you gotta hear this, for what was the first job Dan ever had. He would crawl into the caves of hibernating bears to make sure they were there. Which gives us a little insight as to Dan. He was the parks manager for Boulder County Parks and Open Space. He's married to the world-famous optometrist and all-world optometrist and my personal optometrist, Dr. Jane Wolford. Is the father of 3 college students stretched from Salt Lake City, Utah to Columbus, Ohio. When not managing the city's properties and floods, Dan volunteers as a treasurer for the local Trout Unlimited chapter, as a member of the Boulder County CSU Extension Advisory Committee, also currently attending Front Range Community College, working on a certificate program in Geographic Information Systems, or GIS. Also, Dan is a world-famous lacrosse player. He's had many parts replaced in his body because of the years playing lacrosse. So you'll notice we'll have a wheelchair to bring Dan up to the front. Dan's co-speaker is a lady that I recently went to Cuba with, and I found out that, as they called her in Cuba, it wasn't Paula, it was Doña Paula. And I realized that Doña Paula, when she had enough rum, smoked a cigar, could salsa like nobody else in the world. And she had no recollection of being in Cuba. When we went through customs, we told them, don't tell them where you've been. They asked her, where have you been? And she said, no sé, which means I don't know. Paula is a registered landscape architect, longtime project manager for the St. Vrain Greenway and other Longmont Park and Trails projects. She's been with the city for over 20 years with light at the end of the tunnel. Although she's still in the prime in the life of Miss Paula, she is about to retire from the city, which is our loss and I guess her gain, or Rick's new life will change. Other talents include cracking the whip on contractors, crunching numbers for budgets, and frustrating vandals with hard-to-damage public infrastructure. She's also the caregiver and probation officer to her husband, Ricky Ramjet. So at this point, I would like to bring them both up for the PK presentation. Their title is Flood Impact on Natural Resources. Let's give them a warm PK welcome.
You all been to the Pacific Northwest, right? This is the flood event. When it rained, it obviously brought a lot of timber. This is up at Button Rock. Everybody knows that this is our primary water source. This is the far west end of Button Rock Preserve. This, on the other hand, is the opposite side of Button Rock at Longmont Reservoir. That as all that came down, this was the reservoir. So we had, what, 27,000 cubic yards of debris that came in and is now being dredged to reconstruct the County Road 80. This just gives you an example of the power of the river and the water as it came through Lyons, taking out that roadway.
In Lyons, it was documented as being a 500-year storm. At I-25, a 100-year storm. Longmont's about halfway in between, so it's up to you to guess on that. This is a picture taken from just to the west of North 75th Street. You can see the airport over here. This is Pella Crossing, being inundated there.
Can you imagine the poor guy who was sitting on that thing when that water came through? Oh my God. This is Pella Crossing, and Boulder County's working diligently to get this back up. It'll probably be put back together probably in 2015. But that water came through, obviously, with quite a bit of power.
And this is Golden Ponds. This is a spillway coming out of the east pond at Golden Ponds, and this is going to take some time to rebuild. It's in design here shortly. The reason the water level in that east pond is so low is because the spillway's gone. Fortunately, there's a plug in the pipe between the other ponds, so the other ponds are not drained as well.
You're all pretty familiar with this location, Sunset Bridge, Isaac Walton. This is our park shop. Boulder County Fairgrounds, you can see as that water came through, the bridge withstood the flood. It was that darn wing wall that didn't quite make it. So quite a bit of damage. This is again the Sunset Bridge, the power line coming through there. This bridge will likely, it's in the process of being designed right now, and construction will likely take place late fall and winter, hopefully completion by the end of this year.
And this is our home away from home for Dan and I, the park shop down on Sunset Street, right across the street from Isaac Walton Pond. And we had quite a bit of water in there. Inside the administrative building, which is over in this corner, was about 6 inches, but some of the barns down here had probably a foot. We lost some equipment as well. And here's the bridge down at Rogers Grove, going onto the trail, heading towards Sunset Street. Obviously a little jump there to get onto it. What happened is it breached a lot of the bridges on the edge of them, and then if it could undercut that abutment, it would tip it. So we're not sure yet if we can salvage these bridges or not. Here's sort of the trail to nowhere, and fortunately we have a recent donation from Boulder County for some additional land. We're going to have to relocate this trail further to the north, but fortunately now we have the land to do that. But this section of trail is going to take some time to rebuild.
Here's a little bit of a challenge for us. This is Isaac Walton Pond right here. Here's our river as it came through and cut the berm and the Greenway Trail between those two. As a result of that, we're probably going to be moving the Chick Clark fishing program for the kids over to the Fairgrounds Lake. But again, a little bit of destruction.
Yeah, and here's the trail down by our favorite watering hole, Left Hand Brewery. So what happened here is that a lot of this timber got plugged in the bridge, and it created eddies around here. So it just tore the heck out of, as well as that above ground sewer line going across there. It just tore that trail up. This is downstream of the railroad bridge, and just a short section, but it would be kind of an interesting skate park if it connected there. We'll be working on this area within the next year or so.
As you'll see in this photograph, Union Reservoir, Sandstone Ranch, a couple sections of missing trail as the river jumped from its original channel here, came through and broke through Aggregate Industries gravel ponds, came through and washed out. Many of you have probably been across the bridge right there, so we have some challenges in front of us.
And this is the entrance from Longmont onto the Lobo Trail, the Longmont to Boulder Trail down on Hover Road near Olin Farms property. And they're working on this ditch repair right now, and then they'll come back in and repair the trail. But this is going to take a little bit longer to repair. And this has got to be one of the shortest lived bridges in Longmont. This is at Kanemoto Park. It was just installed last year, and now it needs to be reinstalled. We hope it's not too twisted, that it can't be salvaged, but we will need a longer bridge in that section. They are in design right now, and they'll be starting construction within a month or so. And this is Kanemoto Pool, or was Kanemoto Pool. One of my projects was just to do the demolition of that structure, and I'll be putting out a design proposal soon to re-envision that as either a pool or a splash pad. So if any of you are interested in that, stay tuned to that project.
And life goes on. As you can see, this is just to the east of Weld County Road 1 with all the deposition that came through. Look at all the wildlife still in through here, and again, the beautiful backdrop that we're fortunate to have. So as we move farther east, we have different challenges. Likely we'll keep the river in its existing course.
And we found this tire swing and thought Greg might find a use for it. But it's amazing, you can see evidence like this of how high that water got and how ferocious it went. We're spending lots of staff time on all the projects here, and I guess that's it. So thank you for having us.
All right, thank you. You know, you really have to take your hats off to Paula and Dan for the work they put into this. This was going to be Paula's legacy, was that the river trail being almost completed, and just that close to being completed, and it's now gone. I cannot tell you how many times I've run into people who say, when are they going to fix it? Because so many people in the city of Longmont took advantage of this and enjoyed it. So it's the kind of thing you take your hats off to the work they've done and how Longmont came together. It's amazing, and by the time it is repaired, I'm hoping it'll be wheelchair accessible so I can utilize it. But thank you, that's been great.